everybody, we're here to talk to you a little bit about KeyForge OP. I know there's been a lot of rumors and questions that have been flying around in the community, and we really want to take this opportunity to talk to you and help dispel and bring out some more information for you guys. So let's dive right into it.
Let's do it.
Alex, biggest question, the thing I've been hit with the most over and over again. What kind of sleeves do I need to use in KeyForge OP?
You're not alone on that one. That's the most asked question I get. It's actually going to be fairly straightforward. What we're going to say is for Premier level events, we would love to see opaque sleeves. It's going to be opaque sleeves at Premier level because intentional or unintentional sleeves cards get marked, and we need to make sure that that's hidden information. So for our bigger events, opaque sleeves all the way. However, at in-store play, it's going to be up to TO's discretion.
Oh, wonderful.
So we have these beautiful Archons. If you want to put them in clear sleeves at your store level events, as long as the TO's happy with it, get those Archons out. It's we're going to celebrate that unique part of the game.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I think so.
I like it.
Cool.
So I have a question for you because I've seen this one a lot too. Do we have to use like the official FFG tokens, the ones that came in the set, or are people going to be allowed to use the tokens that they made at home?
So these lovely bits of functioning cardboard that you get, these are great. They do the job, and that's exactly what we're looking for, things that do the job. So if you want to bring along your custom pieces, things you made yourself, things you've had made, that is perfectly fine as long as it's very clear what they do, and it's clear to your opponent what they do and what they represent. That is a key part of it.
Excellent.
Unless we're talking dice.
Oh, okay. So what's the deal with
Right.
dice?
Yeah, so are people going to be allowed to use dice as amber tokens?
No, dice have a problem where like people like the idea of using like a D12 or D20 or something that can track a large number. The problem we've got is they will move, they will get knocked. Tournament environment, the table's going to get knocked, they move. Was it a 3? Was it a 4? Was it a? You're so engrossed in the game, you're going to miss points.
Even one amber difference can
it's huge,
decide a
absolutely
game.
massive. So we don't allow dice because of that exact reason. Now, in theory, you could use multiple dice if one dice was one piece of amber, but that gets messy. You may as well be using.
So I've been using a dice on certain things for power, like Zizek's the Many. I've gotten like up to 18 on him, and then you're just running out of tokens. So can we use it there, or is it just no dice in organized
No dice,
play?
same, it could get knocked. I mean, we're talking fringe cases where it seems more practical to use dice, but you should really find something to represent it in that situation. Even if you don't have enough yourself, call a judge over, find something to represent multiple damage in one card. Maybe you have a judge proxy of +5 damage that you use for the meantime to help you, but it has to be clear what it identifies.
Perfect.
Not a dice.
Perfect.
Cool.
Yeah.
So moving on. When we're playing, something I think you guys, Brad, will you get to see your opponent's deck list while playing?
Well, I think that really varies on the formats that we're playing in, which I think you can probably speak to a little bit more.
Yeah, probably should be one for me, really. I'm asking the question, I know the answer. Great. So the deck lists are great. They obviously have a lot of information on. And when we're playing Archon, so this is a good segue into the two main kind of formats for the deck, for the game, is we'll have Archon, which is constructed, I guess, for familiarizing term, is where you bring your known deck to the tournament.
Yep.
Archon format. And then Sealed is where you have a pack, and you open it up and you play with what you've got. It's an unknown entity. So when you play in the Archon format, yes, it's public information. Your deck has already been discovered. It's out there. So yes, you can give your opponent your ID card and they can look at what's in your deck. When we're playing Sealed, we actually don't want that. We want to keep the mystique of a sealed environment. Now, you can look at your own list, obviously, but you won't be sort of discovering the deck on the app until the end of a Sealed event. So for that, you keep that hidden from your opponents. So you're both discovering the decks as you go through that game and through a Sealed environment.
That's super exciting.
Yeah, I think that's
makes
really
it
fun.
really fun because you never know.
Yeah, I think, and that's part of the fun, right? You're discovering these decks, you're opening them up, and the Sealed should stay that kind of fun Sealed environment
exactly.
where anything goes kind of thing.
Well, I mean, KeyForge is about discovery at its core, and Sealed is really one of the ultimate expressions of that discovery. And so having that moment where you're not sure what's in your opponent's deck, like that's one of the most compelling things about the game.
Yeah, I think so. And now, a question I do have for you, because I'm very regimented, very organized. People know I put my deck down at 45 degrees. I have my little ticks on how I play. So we have this lovely mat here, which shows this is the demo scenario map, the 2-player map, which shows where your Archon goes, your draw deck, your discard, your keys, your everything here. Is that important? Do we have to follow this while playing the game?
You don't have to follow what's on the board, or even what's in the rule book, as long as you make it clear to your opponent where things are, what everything is, where your battle line is, where your keys are, where you're collecting your amber, it's good. As long as you can make that clear and your opponent understands.
So if I want to be a little bit quirky and different, which is this game's kind of about, I can put my battle line at the back and my artifacts in front of it?
Sure.
Yep.
As long as you make it clear to your opponent.
Okay.
Okay, so I can take my keys and use them to track my amber instead of placing them on my house card, right?
Exactly. Like I said, as long as you make it clear to your opponent, that's where your amber pool is. That's where your amber pool
I
is.
actually quite like that idea. You pointed out earlier that yellow amber shards on a yellow Archon can get a bit deceiving to some people, so yeah, that
And
makes
especially
sense.
like where we have it arranged on the mat, if we have these large keys placed out in front.
Or these lovely organized play premium keys, these ones, yeah.
Yes, if we have them out here, it's much more obvious to my opponent. So I like doing that personally, while some people like to line them up the side. It's all about personal preference, right?
Exactly. And you have freedom to do a lot of different things, but again, as long as you make it clear to your opponent.
All right.
Excellent.
So for me, see, I've run a lot of events. I'm involved in the community a fair bit. I get bombarded, as we all do, with rules questions after rules questions, especially at the moment when people are starting to see the cards, asking about interactions. They're figuring things out as a few decks have got out there. If I'm out there and I have a rules question and I don't understand it, and you're not, the community are kind of not an official source, obviously they have opinions and they're going to try and figure it out. If that's not satisfying my question, what should I do?
So, you should head over to the KeyForge page on the FFG website. And under there, under the support section, you'll find the rules. And that is the up-to-date current rules for the game. And if you are still having trouble, even with those rules, figuring out how this interaction works, there should also be a link there to send this guy an email. And I will get back to you as soon as possible.
I suppose not everybody's so lucky to be able to just be like, hey, Brad, I mean, in addition, that rules reference being online allows us to update it and put in frequently asked questions and keep it as up to date as possible.
Exactly. And that's one of the benefits of having that be online all the time.
Excellent.
All right. Cool.
So I know people are going to be curious about organized play in general for this game.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about a couple of the different formats or what we have planned?
Yeah, there is one I'd like to talk about, and that is what's going to be our seasonal organized play, our in-store seasonal play, which we're kind of calling chain-bound events, which is really exciting, and it's actually created, well, people don't know what they are yet, it's created most of the questions, and it's a good chance to raise them. So chain-bound events are going to be your store-run events once a week, once a month for store wants to do, but up to once a week, where you're playing in the same environment, mostly with the same people. And that's when chains come in, right? So your deck will get chained based on this event, so how its performance at the event. So if it does really well, it'll gather some chains. Now what that will mean is next time you go to the same level of event, same chain-bound event, you will start each game with that many chains. So it is an effect that keeps you, if you're coming back to the same event, same store, or any store for that matter, you're going to be, you can't come along with a super powerful deck. I mean, I've been chatting off camera about my deck. I'm not going to give the name away because I'm not going to prevent it for a while, keeping it hidden. Like, you can't just dominate your local store and keep winning and keep winning and keep winning, because eventually that deck is going to get chained and it'll get to a point where it's got enough chains that it's powerful anymore, right? I mean, it's a super powerful deck, but at these chained level events, chain-bound, it's not.
But those chains only apply at these chain-bound events.
Oh, absolutely. Once you take it to a different style of event, maybe a more senior event, I'm not going to talk to those yet, but if you take it to a different event, not a chain-bound event, there are no chains. They fall off. It's just for that level of event. And it's exactly that. So stop that negative play experience of new players coming in, and there's 2 or 3 established decks in the local meta that are just going to keep winning. We're going to encourage players to be good with different decks and come along, play a bit more, and then sure, when they go to nationals or something, that deck is unchained. It's loose. It's super powerful, ready to play at its full potential, like it was made to be, right?
Exactly.
So we're not going to completely destroy that deck's potential to be good. We're just going to control it at one level where we get the most interaction with loads of players and new players, and make sure we create a nice balanced play environment.
That's awesome. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
So in some ways, at the chain-bound level, the chains are acting it's kind of like, I don't know, it's almost kind of like a positive. It's like the more chains you have, the more powerful that deck is. So it's kind of like bragging rights,
yeah,
right?
if you get a deck with a ton of chains on it, you're either a seriously good player or your deck is seriously good. And that's going to be kind of a good marker. Like, if I'm walking up like, Brew, I start every game with 20 chains. I'm like, what? That's insane. How have you managed to get to that level? you've got to be amazing. Or that deck's got all combination. So yeah, man, I kind of want that deck. It's cool. And no matter who plays that deck, they have the same chance. It's the deck that gets it, not the player.
So I've got another question. I'm going to aim this one over at Mercedes because she's been doing an awesome job working on the KeyForge app that's coming out. Mercedes, can I play KeyForge on the app?
No. No, this is not like an online play experience for this. What this is meant to be is it's meant to be a companion for the KeyForge game itself. So there's going to be, a few different things that you can do. Among them are being able to use the QR code that is on the back of your Archon card, and it will allow you. We are got a starter right here, but you will be able to scan that using the app, or you can use the 15-digit code to register it online if you're using a desktop. And basically what it'll do is it'll allow you to register decks to your account so that you can keep track of all of the content, all of your Archons, which cards are in which decks, which houses you have. It'll allow you to filter via various options. And
it'll tell you how many chains the deck has.
It'll tell you how much power it chains, any of that kind of stuff. Eventually we'll have full organized play stat tracking, so you can see also out in the world which decks are performing well. You can do a full deck search of all of the decks that have been registered to keyforgegame.com, which is fabulous. And in addition, you'll also have a personal profile page where you can track all of the fun goodies that you're getting through organized play, and you'll also be able to go to the organized play section of the Master Vault, as we were calling it, and it will show you all of the newest organized play events that are going to be available. At some point we're going to be able to find events, so I can just be like, what are the events near me? Who do I contact to get involved in those sorts of things? And so there's
it's really your window into the Crucible.
Absolutely. Like I said, we're calling it the Master Vault. So at the end, we want it to be the end all be all of information that is in the Crucible.
So to start off with, it's a case of discovering your deck, adding it to this ongoing list of discovered decks, and then in the future it'll start to, the Master Vault will evolve and incorporate more and more elements as the game goes on. So
and now when does the Master Vault launch?
We are hoping to launch the Master Vault with the game on November 15th.
God, so soon.
Oh my God.
So soon.
Man, I can't wait to get playing.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited for the pre-launch events coming up this weekend.
I guess there's only one more question I have, and it's, I go home and I make an alternate art version of a card. Can I use that in my deck?
No, absolutely not. These are, just because you've got opaque sleeves doesn't mean you can put whatever you want in there. You have to use the actual cards that come in the game, their official FFG product. That has to be used. You cannot go making your own things. That is not part of what we're doing here. That I mean, if you want to do it and great and create your own pieces of art, then whatever you want to do. But they are not going to be legal cards for any tournament play.
Wonderful. What about me? Can I make them?
Especially not you. You've made enough, right?
Well, I don't have any more questions, so I hope that helps you guys out understand just a little bit more about organized play for KeyForge, and I can't wait to see you guys out there forging some keys. Everybody, have a great night.